Suvi Haapaniemi, a graduating student at the Turku Arts Academy. I'm a visual artist and an activist, and my thesis work is a protest against Finland's complicity in the genocide in Palestine. I am urging the art world, both on an institutional level as well as on the level of the artists, to use their visibility and agency actively in opposition to genocide. For me, that looks like the refusal to continue working normally. I refuse to continue showcasing art of mine, and instead, all of my focus is on uplifting Palestinian voices and using my privileges for their benefits, while staying aware of my positionality and always carrying my responsibilities. I strive for transparency, and I'm not afraid to show vulnerability. I'd rather show up imperfectly than not show up. I think perfectionism and the fear of failure are meant to keep us with anyways. I am deeply grateful and honored to get to have this dialogue here in the community. Would you like to briefly introduce yourself and the community that you've built, Palestinian Roots?
My name is Mahir Abuaskar. I am a Palestinian Finn who came to Finland in 1991, and I am the founder of Palestinian Roots. This organization began as something very personal, a way to hold on to our identity, our memories, and the pieces of home that many of us had to leave behind. What started in Turku has grown into a community with branches in Helsinki, Oman, and Gaza. And each place carries its own story, its own heartbeat. Our mission moves in two directions, and they are deeply connected. The first is cultural, preserving and celebrating Palestinian heritage, language, and traditions. For Palestinians in the diaspora, especially the younger generation, identity can feel fragile. So we create spaces where people can reconnect through art, music, food, and storytelling, and feel the sense of belonging that every human being deserves. We also work to build awareness and understanding here in Finland so that our narrative and our lived experience are seen and heard in an authentic way. The second direction is our humanitarian work in Gaza, rooted in compassion and responsibility. Through our volunteers there, we support widows and orphans, not only with sponsorships, but with sustainable projects that restore dignity and independence. Clothing recycling initiatives, small bakery projects, and other efforts that create real jobs for widows. And recently, we've begun building a rehabilitation center that uses art therapy to support children who have lived through unimaginable trauma and loss. These children deserve more than survival. They deserve healing, expression, and hope. Everything we do, the cultural events, the workshops, the exhibitions, is about connection. It's about giving people a place to share their stories, to learn from one another, and to feel seen. This exhibition, which you are now part of, is a reflection of that mission. It invites visitors to see Palestinians not through headlines, but through our humanity, our creativity, our resilience, our everyday life. It's a chance to show who we are in our own voices. And I am proud to stand here representing a community that continues to build, create, and care for one another, no matter where we are in the world. So I want to thank you, Suvi, for giving us this opportunity to participate in this exhibition.
Do you want to tell me about your father's career as an artist? Can you tell a bit about the works that are here at the exhibition?
My father, Mahmoud Abuaskar, was not only an artist, he was a storyteller. He began his artistic journey in Palestine when he was just 16 years old. From the very beginning, he used art to document everyday life, the landscape, and the emotions of a people living through constant change. For him, painting was a form of memory, a way to preserve the beauty of our culture, the strength of our people, and the moments that often go unseen by the world. When he left Palestine in 1948, his art became even more important. It became a bridge, a way to stay connected to home the way to pass that connection on to us, his children. His style is deeply rooted in Palestinian visual traditions: warm earth tone, village scenes, olive trees, and expressive faces that carry entire stories. Every brushstroke holds a piece of him, of his identity. About the three original works in the exhibition. The first one, Guardian of Memory. This piece portrays a Palestinian woman dressed in a richly embroidered traditional thobe. Behind her, blue and purple swirls blend with stylized Arabic calligraphy, creating a sense of depth, remembrance, and cultural continuity. The painting embodies the idea of art as resistance, preserving heritage and identity through visual storytelling. The second piece, Roots in the Sand, this work reflects a realistic, culturally symbolic style. It depicts a Palestinian woman from Beersheba standing in the vast desert. Her traditional embroidered dress carries the identity of the Negev with warm colors that blend into the sand. Light falls gently across her face, highlighting her strength and her unbreakable connection to the land. My father had a gift for painting expressions that tell entire stories without a single word, and this piece captures the resilience and dignity of Palestinians in their daily lives. The third one is Daughter of the Harvest. This piece is more emotional, carrying themes of longing, memory, and the experience of displacement, painted in a neo traditional realistic style. It shows a Palestinian woman standing in a golden wheat field during harvest. She holds a sickle, her dark purple embroidered dress reflecting the artisanal traditions of the region. The warm tone and soft sky create a peaceful, almost iconic atmosphere. The work speaks to the deep connection between women and the land, to everyday labor, and to cultural continuity that survives across generations. Together, these three works form a small but powerful window into my father's life, his identity, and the artistic legacy he left behind. For me, having his originals pieces here is deeply personal. It feels like bringing a part of him and a part of Palestine into this space. I'm grateful that visitors will have the chance to experience his art and the stories behind it.
You have beautifully described art as resistance in the Palestinian context. This is very present in your father's work as well. If it's okay for me to ask, what kind of a special role do you see that art has in the Palestinian context, if it does? This is a very present theme in the work that you do with Palestinian roots as well. What is the vision that guides you with that work? Personal to share.
For Palestinians, art is not just something we create, it's something we hold onto. It's a lifeline. When so much of our history has been taken, scattered, or rewritten, art becomes the place where our truth can live safely. It carries our memories, our pain, our joy, and our hope. It becomes a home we can return to even when the physical home is out of reach. My father understood this in his bones. When he painted, he wasn't only creating images, he was preserving a world he feared might disappear. The olive trees, the embroidered dresses, the faces full of dignity, these were not just subjects for him. They were pieces of a homeland he carried inside himself. His art kept Palestine alive for him and for us, his children. In the Palestinian context, art becomes a quiet but powerful form of resistance. Not resistance in the sense of conflict, but resistance in the sense of existence. When you paint your village, your grandmother's dress, your land, your memories, you are saying, this is who we are. This is where we come from. This is what we refuse to lose. Art protects what history has tried to erase. And because art speaks to the heart. It reaches people in a way that politics never can. A painting can make someone feel our story, not just hear it. It can open a door to understanding, empathy, and connection. This is exactly why art at the center of what we do in Palestinian roots. Every exhibition, every embroidery workshop, every cultural event, it's all part of keeping our story alive. For Palestinians in the diaspora, especially our children, these artistic expressions are a way to feel connected to a homeland they may have never seen within their own eyes. And for Finnish audiences, it's a way to see us as human beings with culture, beauty, and depth, not just a political headlines. So, yes, art has a very special role for us. It is memory, it is identity, it is healing, it is truth, and it is hope. For Palestinians, art is the place where we continue to exist fully, proudly, and beautifully, no matter where we are in the world.
The general narrative around Palestine here in the Western media is to portray Palestinian culture mostly through a lens. In your father's work, the main focus is on the traditional family life, the Palestinian identity, and the joyous rituals of the community. As a white artist who doesn't share the lived experience of the dehumanization and violence Palestinians have endured, I find it important to be mindful around portraying violence in my own art. Do you find more value in visual culture that doesn't protesting, but the warmth and liveliness of the culture as well? Is there a place for portraying both, or does portraying violence and pain cause re-traumatization?
The vision that guides me is actually very simple. I want to make sure that our story, our culture, and our humanity are never lost. Growing up as a Palestinian in the diaspora, I learned early how easily a people's identity can be misunderstood, silenced, or forgotten. So, my vision is to protect what is precious, our memory, our heritage, and the dignity of our narrative, and to pass it forward to the next generation. A lot of this comes from my father. Watching him paint was like watching someone hold on to home with their bare hands. He taught me that art, culture, and storytelling are not luxuries for Palestinians. They are lifelines. They keep us connected to who we are, even when the world around us changes. So the vision behind my work with Palestinian roots is to build bridges between generations, between cultures, and between the past and the future. I want our children to grow up knowing where they come from, feeling proud of their identity, and understanding that they belong to a culture that is rich, beautiful, and full of resilience. And I also want people here in Finland to see us through that same lens, not through politics or headlines, but through our humanity, our creativity, and our lived experience. Another part of my vision is healing. When I see the children in Gaza, the widows, the families who have lost so much, I feel a responsibility to do whatever I can, even if it is small, to bring hope, dignity, and support, whether it's through art, therapy, cultural projects, or community work. I want our efforts to bring light into places where it's needed most. So, if I had to put it into one sentence, my vision is to keep our story alive with honesty, with beauty, and with love, so that no matter where we are in the world, Palestine continues to live through us.
There is a Zionist machinery trying to silence Palestinian voices, of course, literally by genociding people, but all around the globe as well. Do you see that art has a special role in uplifting these voices? I'm asking this from the position of a Finnish art student. I view I have special responsibility in using my privileges to resist and oppose the genocide, but the systematic silencing of Palestinian voices in Finland as well. That's what I'm aiming for with this thesis work and this collaboration as well. What is your view on that? the responsibility of the privileged artists? Is it hypocritical of me to ask a question like this?
You are absolutely right that the Western media often reduces Palestinian life to a single narrative: conflict, violence, and suffering. And of course, those realities exist and they shape our lives in deep ways. But they are not the whole story. They are not even the majority of our story. My father understood that. He chose to paint the warmth, the beauty, the rituals, the dignity of everyday life because he wanted to show the world that Palestinians look like when they are simply allowed to be human. For us, art shows joy, family, tradition, and identity. It's not escapism, it's resistance. It's a way of saying we are more than what has happened to us. We are a people with culture, with history, with love, with laughter. And that message is just as important, if not more important, than showing pain. Your question about if there is a place for portraying suffering, yes, but with care. There is absolutely a place for art that portrays pain, loss, and violence. These are real experiences for Palestinians, and silencing them would also be a form of erasure. But the way they are portrayed matters. If the art is created with empathy, with respect, and with a desire to understand rather than to sensationalize with, then it can be powerful, it can open hearts, it can create awareness. But when suffering becomes the only image people see of us, it becomes dehumanizing. It reduces us to victims. It strips away our complexity. And yes, for many Palestinians, constantly seeing images of violence can be traumatizing. It can reopen wounds that never fully heal. This is why my father painted the way he did. He wanted to protect the parts of our culture that are full of life: the embroidery, the harvest, the family gathering, the women standing strong in their identity. These images remind us of who we are beyond the trauma. They give us strength, they give us continuity. And in Palestinian roots, we follow the same vision. We show the beauty of our culture because it deserves to be seen, because it exists, because it is alive. I really appreciate your sensitivity as an artist. The fact that you are asking this question already shows respect. You don't need to share our lived experience to create meaningful work. You just need to approach it with humility, empathy, and awareness. And you are already doing that. So, yes, there is value in showing both the pain and the beauty. But for Palestinians, the art that celebrates life is often the art that keeps us alive. It reminds us that we are more than our suffering and that our culture continues to breathe even in the hardest time.
And lastly, how do you feel about this kind of a collaboration with an art student like me? I try to be as mindful as I can with not causing you any harm through this collaboration and staying transparent of my own position. Still, I feel like I'm making you do a lot of work for me. Is there any way that I or the exhibition visitors could be of service to you or to Palestinian roots as a sign of appreciation and as a reward for all the work that you've put in answering these questions?
To be honest, I feel very grateful for this collaboration. When someone approaches our culture with respect, humility, and a genuine desire to understand, it already means a lot. You've been very mindful, very transparent about your position, and very careful not to cause harm. And that care is felt. It makes this collaboration feel safe, meaningful, and human. I don't see this as you making me working with you. I see it as a conversation, a chance to share something that is important to me and to bring my father's legacy into a new space. When someone listens with an open heart, that is already a form of support. For Palestinians, being heard, truly heard, is not something we take for granted. So when an artist like you takes the time to understand our story, to represent us with dignity and to question your own position, it becomes a form of solidarity. It shows that our culture, our memories, and our humanity matter to someone outside our community. That alone is valuable. If visitors want to show appreciation, the most meaningful thing they can do is to engage with the art with an open mind and an open heart, to see Palestinians as full human beings with joy, culture, family, beauty, and resilience, not only through the lens of suffering. That shift in perception is already a gift. And if someone feels moved to support Palestinian roots, they can follow our work, attend our events, share our message, or support our humanitarian projects in Gaza. But none of this is an obligation. The biggest reward is simply knowing that our story is being seen and understood. So please don't feel that you are taking from me. This collaboration is a two-way exchange. You are giving space to our narrative, and I am sharing something that I carry with pride. That to me is a beautiful and respectful partnership.
I thank you so deeply for taking the time and energy to answer these questions. And I'm truly honored that you have had this conversation with you.
I appreciate the sensitivity behind your question, and I want to say first that it is not hypocritical at all. The fact that you are asking it shows awareness, humility, and willingness to reflect on your own position, and that already sets you apart. It shows that you care about doing this work responsibly. It's true that Palestinians' voices are often marginalized or overshadowed in many parts of the world, including here in France. And when a community's voice is pushed to the edge, art becomes one of the few places where truth can still breathe. Art can carry stories that are otherwise ignored. It can humanize people who are often reduced to political symbols. It can open emotional doors that facts alone cannot. So, yes, art has a very special role. It can amplify voices that are not being heard. It can create space for empathy. It can challenge the narratives that flatten us into one dimensional images. And it can do all of this without speaking over the people whose stories it touches. But the key is intention. When an artist with privilege uses their platform to uplift others, not to replace them, not to speak for them, but to make room for them, that is a powerful act of solidarity. On the responsibility of the privileged artist, I don't see your position as a burden or something to feel guilty about. I see it as an opportunity. You have access to spaces, audiences, and institutions that Palestinians often do not. When you use that access to open doors for us, to create visibility, to challenge harmful narratives, you are doing something meaningful. And the fact that you are doing it with care, checking your position, asking questions, making sure you are not causing harm, that is exactly what responsible art practice looks like. Your question about if it is harmful or hypocritical to ask this, no, it's the opposite. If anything, it would be more harmful not to ask. Silence can be a form of complicity, but asking, listening, and learning, that is how respectful collaboration begins. You are not taking space away from me, you are creating space with me, and that is something I value. So, yes, art can uplift silenced voices, and yes, privileged artists have a role to play, not by speaking over us, but by standing beside us, amplifying what we say, and making sure our humanity is seen. What you are doing with this thesis and this collaboration is exactly that. And I am grateful for it. Thank you for giving me the space to share all of this. For me, the most important thing to add is that behind every artwork, every cultural event, every story we tell, There are real people, families, children, elders, who simply want to live with dignity, to hold on to their identity, and to be seen as a human being. Palestinian culture is full of beauty, creativity, humor, and resilience. It is a culture that has survived through memory, through storytelling, through art, and through the love that communities carry from one generation to the next. When people engage with our culture with openness, curiosity, and respect, it helps keep that heritage alive. I also want to say that solidarity doesn't always have to be loud or dramatic. Sometimes it looks like listening. Sometimes it looks like asking thoughtful questions. Sometimes it looks like giving space to voices that are often overlooked. What you are doing with this thesis and this collaboration is exactly that, creating a space where our story can be shared in our own words. If visitors take anything away from this exhibition, I hope it is the understanding that Palestinian life is not defined only by struggle. It is defined by family, by tradition, by art, by joy, by connection to the land, and by a deep sense of community. These are the things my father painted. These are the things we try to protect through Palestinian roots. And these are the things that continue to live no matter where we are in the world. So thank you for listening, for caring, and for giving room to a story that is often pushed away or pushed aside, that in itself is meaningful. And finally, I want to wish you the very best with your thesis. You have proven yourself to be a brilliant graduating art student, thoughtful, respectful, and genuinely committed to understanding the world beyond your own experience. Thank you.